All right. Okay. Right, we continue, yeah, our lecture on Module 7, WAN Concept. Okay, explain, yeah. Basically, this module will explain how WAN access technology can be used to satisfy business requirement. So the purpose of WAN actually explain the purpose of WAN, yeah, operation of WAN, explain how WANs operates, traditional WAN connectivity, compare traditional WAN connectivity options, modern WAN, compare modern WAN connectivity, and also internet-based connectivity is compare internet-based interconnectivity option. Okay, purpose of WAN. Okay, a WAN is a telecommunication network that spans over a relatively large geographical area and is required to connect beyond the boundary of LAN. Yeah, all right. LAN in a small scale. Okay, all right. So local area actually for LAN provide a networking services within a small geographic area. Okay, let's see if we have another organization in another places, so we have to connect that organization on that network using a WAN. So we need to know the WAN, and then we need to subscribe the WAN services, right? Okay, one area. So WAN provide a networking services over a large geographical areas. Yeah. So LAN, another LAN are used to interconnect local computers. Okay, and WAN are used to connect a remote user network and also site. A LAN is owned and managed by an organization. A WAN are owned and managed by internet service, telephone, cable, and satellite. And maybe for our organization, yeah. Okay, right. So other than network infrastructure costs, there is no fee to use a LAN. Yeah, with services are provided for a fee. There is a fee if you're using a LAN services. Yeah. LAN also provide highest bandwidth speed using via Ethernet and also Wi-Fi services, but for WAN, provider offer low to high bandwidth speed over a long distance. Okay. All right. So this is the scenario of WAN. We have some other remote sites here, and then we have a campus in another site. So we have to connect between these two, yeah, using a WAN technology. All right. Okay. A private WAN is connection that is dedicated to a single user. Yeah. Private WAN provide the following, for example, guaranteed service level, consistent bandwidth, and also security. Okay, a public WAN connection is typically provided by SP or telecommunications service provider using the internet. In this case, the service level and bandwidth may vary, and the shared connection do not guarantee security. WAN topology. So we can see here, WAN are implemented using the following topological topology design. First, point-to-point topology, hub and spoke. The second one, third one, dual home topology, full mesh technology, and partially mesh technology. Yeah. So large network usually deploy a combination of these topologies. Okay, one topology, point-to-point topology. Employ a point-to-point circuit between two endpoints. Involve a layer 2 transport service through the service provider network. The point-to-point connection is transparent to the customer network. Yeah, so it becomes expensive if many point-to-point connection are required. Okay, right. So hub and spoke technology enable a single interface on the hub router to be shared by all spoke circuits. Yeah, spoke router can be interconnected through the hub router using virtual circuit and also the router sub interface, right? Okay. All right. So spoke router can only communicate with each other through the hub router. Okay, the hub router represent a single point failure. If it's failed, inter-sport communication also fail. Okay. So another topology is dual home topology. Yeah, offer enhanced network redundancy, yeah, load balancing, distributed computing, and processing, including the ability to implement backup service provider connection. Yeah, more expensive to implement than a single home topologies. Okay, this is because they have to put additional network hardware such as additional router and also switches. More difficult to implement because they are required additional, more complex. Yeah. To implement because they are required additional and more complex configuration. Okay. So this one is a one, so it will affect a cost compared to the line. Yeah. So fully mesh topology, use multiple virtual circuit to connect all sides. Okay. The most fault tolerant topology, of course. Yeah. Compared to the another which is partially mesh topology, connects many but not all sites according to some requirement. Maybe, yeah, some requirement I can say that uh, the security for backup and so on and so forth. All right. Okay. Carrier connection. Another aspect of WAN design is how an organization connect to the internet. Yeah. An organization usually sign a service level agreement. Yeah. Some agreement with a service provider. The SLA outlines the expected services relating to the reliability and availability of the connections. This is how they works actually. It's because we are communicating or dealing with the service provider. Yeah, the service provider may or may not be the actual carrier because we are managed provider in Malaysia, so we can open a tender for them and then asking for the this one, which is for the WAN connection. Which one is offer better in terms of performance and so on and so forth, about the cost and so on. So we can go for it. Yeah. So a carrier owns and maintains the physical connection and equipment between the provider and also the customer. Typically, an organization will choose either single or dual carrier WAN connection. A single connection is when an organization connect to only one service provider. Yeah, and SLA is negotiated between the organization and also service provider between these two. All right. Okay. A dual carrier connection provide redundancy and also increases network availability. The organization negotiates separate SLA with two different service provider. Okay. Right. This one for dual carrier. Okay. So evolving networks. Network requirement of a company can change dramatically as the company grows over time. Network must meet the day-to-day, yeah, operational needs of business, and it must be able to adapt and grow as a company changes. Network designer and administrator meet these challenges by carefully choosing network topologies, protocols, and service provider. Network can be optimized by using a variety of network design techniques and also architecture. To illustrate differences between network size, we will use a fictitious company called Engineer as it grows from small, local business into a global enterprise. Okay. Small network. Span, a small fictitious company, started with a few employees in a small office. Use a single LAN to connect. Yeah, single LAN connected to a wireless router for sharing data and peripherals. Connection to the internet is through a common broadband service called digital subscriber line or DSL. its support, IT support is contracted from the DSL provider. Okay, so from the small office, okay, here to the internet, broadband access to the internet. And then for our campus network, within a few years, span grew and required several floors of building. Okay, there is expansion of the organization. The company now required a campus area network. Campus area network, which we have a firewall, secures internet access to corporate users, and also in-house IT staff to support and maintain the network. Okay, and branch network. A few years later, the company expanded and added a branch site in the city and remote and also regional site in the other cities. The company now required a metropolitan area network MAN to interconnect site within the city. To connect to the central office, branch offices in nearby city use a private dedicated line through their local service provider. Okay. Distributed network. Span Engineering has now been in business for 20 years. Okay, for 20 years and has grown to thousands of employees distributed in offices worldwide. Site to site and remote access, virtual private network or VPNs. Enable the company to use the internet to connect easily and securely with employees and facilities around the world. Okay, WAN operations. All right. WAN operation, Okay, modern WAN are defined and managed by a number of recognized authority, including the following, which is TIA or EIA. TIA stands for Telecommunication Industries Association. EIA, Electronic Industry Alliance. ISO is one organization also, will involve International Organization for Standard and also IEEE, or Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. Most WAN standards, most of the WAN standards focus on the physical layer and data link layer. Okay, at this level. So data link, what is it for? For WAN services, describe how data will be encapsulated to a frame and describe the spec of electrical for the physical layer. Okay, describe the electrical, mechanical, and operational component to transmit a bit. Means spec. They will provide a spec for the physical, means for the Ethernet, for the cabling, for the fiber optic, and so on and so forth. In terms of electrical, mechanical, and also how they transmit. Okay, so that's mean by that. But here we're not focusing on detail on that physical part. Okay, we're not engineering. We just get some info on that. So layer 2, synchronous digital hierarchy SDH. Layer 1 protocol, layer 2 protocol. Okay, most one focus on physical link and also data link. Layer 1 protocol, okay, which is synchronous SDH and also synchronous optical networking, SONET, dense wavelength division multiplexing, DWDM, And layer 2, we have broadband, for example, DCL and also cable, and wireless, Ethernet WAN, Metro Ethernet, multi-protocol label switching or MPLS, point-to-point protocol, PPP, high-level data link control, HDLC, frame relay, and also asynchronous transfer mode or ATM, common WAN terminology. There are specific terms used to describe WAN connection between the subscriber. Yeah? In example, the company or client and the WAN service provider. So we have one term, term like DTE or data terminal equipment for this, yeah. And this one to connect the subscriber LANs to the WAN, yeah, communication device. And for DCE, remember this DCE, and this for device used to communicate with the provider. And we have another CPE, is a customer premises equipment. This is the DTE and DCE devices located on the enterprise edge. Yeah, point to point of point present or POP, the point where the subscriber connects to the service provider network. Yeah. Demarcation point is the physical location in building or complex that officially separate the CPE from service provider equipment, like this example. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is the demarcation point, yeah, in here. So they will divide between enterprise edge and also service provider. We call this demarcation point, right? So local loop, yeah, local loop or last mile, okay, local loop or last mile is the copper or fiber cable that connect the CPE to the CO of the service provider, yeah. And central office, the local service provider facility or building that connect the CPE to the provider network. Toll networks include backhaul, long haul, all digital, fiber optic communication lines, switches, routers, and other equipment inside the WAN provider network. Yeah. Backhaul network refer to connect multiple access node of the service provider. Backbone network is a large, high capacity network used to interconnect service provider network and to create a redundant network. When we say redundant, means mostly we use for backup, yeah? Right. There are many types of devices that are specific to one environment, okay? So we have voice modem, yeah, voice modem. Where is the voice modem? It is a dial-up modem, okay? We call dial-up modem, okay? Dial-up modem, you use telephone line legacy device, yeah? And we have DSL modem or cable modem, okay? In here, voice modem is here, this one, and this one for DSL modem, and this one for cable, yeah, cable modem. So basically, DSL and cable modem, collectively known as a broadband modems, this high-speed digital modem connect to the DTE router using Ethernet. Yeah, what is CSU and also DSU or digital list line required CSU and a DSU, it connect a digital device to a digital lines. So optical converter connect fiber optic media to copper media and convert optical signals to electronic pulse. Yeah. Wireless router and access point device are used to wirelessly connect to a WAN provider. One core devices, one backbone consists of multiple high-speed router and layer 3 switches. Okay. Okay, this one layer 3 switches. Okay. And layer 3 switches. Serial communication. Almost all network communication occur using a serial communication delivery. Serial communication transmit bits sequentially over a single channel. Yeah. In contrast, parallel communication simultaneously transmit several bits using multiple wire. Okay, that's different. As the cable length increases, the synchronization timing between multiple channels become more sensitive, okay, to distance. For this reason, parallel communication is limited to very short distance. A circuit switch network, okay, for the circuit switch communication. So circuit switch network establish a dedicated circuit or channel between endpoint before the user can communicate. Yeah, establish a dedicated virtual connection through the service provider network before communication can start. All communication use the same path. The two most common type of circuit switch WAN technology are the public switch telephone network (PSTN) and also the legacy integrated services digital network or ISDN. Packet switch communication. Network communication is most commonly implemented using packet switch communication. Okay, so segment traffic uh, segment traffic data into packets that are routed over a shared network. Much less expensive and more flexible than circuit switching. Common type of packet switch WAN technology are Ethernet WAN, or we call that Metro Ethernet. We have MPLSA or multi-protocol level switching, frame relay, and also asynchronous transfer mode. SDH, SONET, and also DWDM, yeah. Service provider network use a fiber optic infrastructure to transport user data between destinations. Fiber optic cable is far superior to copper cable for long distance transmission due to its much lower attenuation and also interference. There are two optical fiber SI layer 1 standard available to service provider. SDH or synchronous digital hierarchy is a global standard for transporting data over fiber optic cable. SONET, synchronous optical networking, or SONET, is the North American standard, yeah, that provide the same services as SDH. SDS and also SONET define how to transfer multiple data, okay, voice and also video communication over optical fiber using lasers or LED or light emitting diodes over great distances, yeah. Dense DWDM or dense wavelength division multiplexing is a newer technology that increases the data carrying capacity of SDH or SONET by simultaneously sending multiple streams of data. But they are multiplexing, sharing, using different wavelength of light. Okay, so this is a current technology, basically DWDM on the WAN. Traditional WAN connectivity, yeah. Traditional WAN connectivity option to understand the WAN of today is help to know where they start. When LAN appeared in 1980s, organizations began to see the need to interconnect with other locations. To do so, they needed their networks to connect to the local loop of service provider. This was accomplished by using dedicated lines or by using switch services from a service provider. Point-to-point lines could be leased, from a service provider or were called lease line. The term refers to the fact that organizations pay a monthly lease fees to a service provider to use the line. These lines are available in different fixed capacity and are generally priced based on the bandwidth required and the distance between the two connected points. There are two systems used to define the digital capacity of copper media serial link. We have T carrier and E carrier. T carrier used in the Northern America. Yeah. T carrier provide T1 link supporting bandwidth up to 1.5444 megabit per second and T3 link supporting bandwidth up to 43 0.7 megabit per second. E-carrier used in Europe. E-carrier provide E1 link supporting bandwidth up to 2.048 megabit per second. Alright. Okay, so we have e-carrier for Europe, used in Europe. So they will support it until 34.368 megabit per second. Right? The table summarizes the advantages and disadvantages of a list. Okay, simplicity. Okay, where point-to-point communication link require minimal expertise to install and maintain. Quality point-to-point communication links usually offer high-quality service if they are adequate bandwidth. Availability, constant availability is essential for some application, especially on e-commerce. Point-to-point communication links provide permanent, dedicated capacity which is required for voice IP, VoIP, or video over IP. Yeah. Disadvantages is a cost and also limited flexibility. Okay, point-to-point are generally the most expensive type of WAN access. The cost of leased line solution can become significant when they are used to connect many sites over increasing distances. WAN traffic is often variable and leased line have a fixed capacity so that the bandwidth of the line seldom matches the need exactly. Yeah. Circuit switch option. Circuit switch connection are provided by public service telephone network, PSTN carrier. Yeah, the local loop connecting the CPE to the CO is a copper media. Yeah, there are two traditional circuit switch option. Is PSTN also SDN. Okay, there are one access user PSTN as is one connection. Yeah. Traditional local loops can transport binary computer data through voice telephone network using voice band modem. The physical characteristic of the local loop and its connection to the PSTN limit the rate of the signal to less 56 kilobit per second. And for SDN, it is a circuit switch technology that enables PSTN local loop to carry digital signal. This provides higher capacity switch connection than dial-up access. SDN provide for data rate between 45 kilobit to 2.048 megabit per second. Packet switch option. Packet switch segment data. Packet switch segments data into packets that are routed over a shared network. It allows many pairs of nodes to communicate over the same channel. There are two traditional legacy circuit switch option, frame relay and also ATM. Yeah, frame relay is a simple layer 2 non-broadcast multi-access, okay, NBWA, one technology that is used to interconnect enterprise LAN. Okay, this one old, old technology for WAN, using packet switch. Frame relay creates a PVC which are uniquely identified by a data link interconnection identifier, which is DLCI. For asynchronous transfer mode or ATM, technology is capable for transferring voice, video, and also data through private and public networks. ATM is built on cell-based architecture rather than on a frame-based architecture. ATM cells are always a fixed length of 53 bytes. Note that frame relay and also ATM network have been largely replaced by faster metro internet and also internet-based solution. Modern WAN connectivity. Modern WAN have more connectivity option than traditional WAN. Enterprises now require faster and more flexible WAN connectivity option. Traditional WAN connectivity options have rapidly declined in use because they are either no longer available, too expensive, and also have limited bandwidth. Yeah. For modern WAN connectivity option, new technology are continual emerging. The figure summarizes the modern WAN connectivity option. First, we have dedicated broadband. Second, packet switch. And last one is a internet-based broadband. Okay, for the dedicated broadband, yeah, fiber can be installed independently by an organization to connect remote location directly together. Dark fiber can be leased or purchased from a supplier. Packet switch, metro Ethernet replacing many traditional WAN option. MPLS, which is enable site to connect to the service provider regardless of its connectivity, regardless of its access technologies. And for the Internet-based broadband, organizations are now commonly using the global Internet infrastructure for WAN connectivity. Yeah. Internet WAN. Service provider now offer Internet WAN service using fiber optic cabling. Yeah. The Internet WAN service can go by many names, including this: Metropolitan Ethernet, Metro E, Internet over MPLSA, Virtual Private LAN, which is VPLS. Yeah. There are several benefits to an Ethernet WAN. Yeah. Reduce expenses and administration, easy integration with existing network, and enhance business productivity. Notes, Internet WANs have gained in popularity and now commonly being used to replace the traditional serial point-to-point, RAM relay, and also ATM WAN links. Yeah. MPLSA, multi-protocol label switch, or MPLSA, is a high-performance service provider WAN routing technology to interconnect clients without regards to access method and or payloads. MPLSA support a variety of client access method for Internet, DSL, cable, and also frame relay. MPLSA can encapsulate all type of protocol, including IPv4 and also IPv6 traffic. And MPLS router can be a customer edge, router, a provider edge, PE router, or an internal provider, P, which is for internal provider, or P router. MPLS router are label switch router, LSR. They attach label to packet that are then used by other MPLS router to forward traffic. Yeah. Okay, this LSR. Okay, this one. Yeah. Okay, this one MPLS cloud. They're using this to manage. Yeah. MPLSA also provides services for quality of service, traffic engineering, redundancy, and also VPN. Internet-based connectivity. Okay, internet-based connectivity option, internet-based broadband connectivity is an alternative to using dedicated WAN option. Internet-based connectivity can be divided into wired and also wireless option. Wired option use permanent cabling like copper or fiber, to provide consistent bandwidth and reduce error rates and latency. For example, DSL cable connection and optical fiber network. Wireless options are less expensive to implement compared to other WAN connectivity option because they use a radio wave, instead of wired media to transmit data. For example, cellular 3.4, 4G, 5G, or satellite internet services. Wireless signal can be negatively affected by factors such as distance from radio tower, interference from other sources, and weather. DSL technology. DSL, or digital subscriber line, is a high-speed, always-on connection technology that uses existing twisted pair telephone line to provide IP services to users. DSL are categorized as asymmetric for ADSL, asymmetric for DSL, SDSL, and also ADSL. ADSL and ADSL2 Plus provide higher downstream bandwidth to the user, okay, compared to the upload bandwidth. Yeah, SDSL provide the same capacity in both directions. Okay, DSL transfer rate are dependent on the actual length of the local loop, yeah, and the type and condition of the cabling. Okay, this for ADSL. All right. DSL connection. Service provider deploy DSL connection in the local loop. The connection is set up between the DSL modem and DSL access multiplexer, DSLAM. Yeah, DSL modem converts the internet signal from the teleworker device to a DSL signal, which is transmitted to a DSL access multiplexer at the provider location. Yeah, DSLAM is located at the central office of the provider and concentrates connection from multiple DSL subscribers. DSL is not a shared medium. Each user has a separate direction connection to the DSLAM. Any user does not impede performance. Yeah. ISP or DSL and PPP. ISP use PPP as the layer 2 protocol for broadband DSL connection. PP can be used to authenticate subscriber. Yeah. And then PP can assign a public IPv4 address to the subscriber and also provide a link quality management features. There are two ways PPP over Internet, PPOE, can be deployed. Host with PPOE client. The PPOE client software communicate with DSL modem using PPPoE, and the modem communication with the ISP using PPPP. Router PPOE client, the router is the PPOE client and obtain its configuration from the provider. Okay, here is the example you can see here, right? Cable technology. Cable technology is a high-speed, always-on connection technology that uses a coaxial cable from the cable company to provide IP services to user. The data cable, data over cable service interface specification, is the international standard for adding high bandwidth data to an existing cable system. The optical node convert RF, radio frequency signal to light pulse over fiber optic cable. The fiber media enable the signal to travel along distances to the provider head end where a cable modem termination system CMTS is located. The head end contains the databases needed to provide internet access, while CMTS is responsible for communicating with the cable modem. Okay, this is the one. All right. So all the local subscribers share the same cable bandwidth. As more users join the service, available bandwidth may drop below the expected rate. So what happened? They become a shrink, right? Because if more user, so bandwidth will be shrink. Many municipalities, like cities and providers, install fiber optic cable to the user location. This commonly referred to as a fiber to the X, FTTX, includes the following. We have fiber to the home, fiber to the building, and also fiber to the neighborhood. Fiber to home, actually fiber reach the boundary of the resident. Fiber to building, which fiber reaches the boundary of the building with the final connection to the individual living space being made via alternative means. And for the FTTN or fiber to the node neighborhood, optical cable reaches an optical node that convert optical signal to a format acceptable for twisted pair or coaxial cable to the premise. FTTX can deliver the highest bandwidth for of all broadband option. Yeah, wireless internet-based broadband. Wireless technology use the unlicensed radio spectrum to send and receive data. Municipal wireless network are available in many cities, providing high-speed internet access for free or for substantially less than the price of other broadband services. And cellular increasingly used to connect devices to the internet using radio wave to communicate through a nearby mobile phone tower, 3.4, 4G, 5G, or long-term evaluation or LTE cellular technologies. Satellite internet, typically used by rural user or in a remote location where cable and also DSL are not available. A router connects to a satellite dish which is pointed to a service provider satellite in geosynchronous orbit. Tree and also heavy rain can impact the satellite signal. And we got another WiMAC, Worldwide Interoperability for Microwave Access, is described in the IEEE standard 802.16, provide high-speed broadband service with wireless access and provide broad coverage like a cell phone network rather than through a small Wi-Fi hotspot. VPN technology. VPN can be used to address security concerns incur when a remote office worker use a broadband services to access the corporate WAN over the internet. A VPN is an encrypted connection between private network over a public network. VPN tunnels are routed through the internet from the private network of the company to the remote site or employee host. There are several benefits to use VPN. There are several benefits to using VPN. Yeah, cost saving, security, scalability, compatibility with broadband technology. VPN are commonly implemented as the following, which is for site-to-site VPN and also remote access. ISP connectivity option. There are different way an organization can connect to an ISP. The choice depends on the needs and budget of the organization. That's very important. Yeah. Single home. This one single home. Dual home. Multi-home. And dual multi-home. Okay. We have many options in order to provide to connect to the ISP. Okay. All right. Broadband solution comparison. Each broadband solution has advantages and disadvantages. If there are multiple broadband solutions available, the cost versus benefit analysis should be performed to determine the best solution. Some factors to consider including the following. First, cable. Yeah. And next we have DSL. Looking for this as well. Fiber to the home, cellular and mobile, municipal Wi-Fi, okay, and also satellite. For cable, actually, bandwidth is shared by many users. Therefore, upstream and data rate are often slow during high usage hours in area with over subscription cost. And for the DSL, limited bandwidth that is distance sensitive in relation to the ISP central office. Upload rate is proportionally lower compared to download rate. Fiber to the home. This option requires fiber installation directly to the home. cellular, mobile, or mobile. With this option, coverage is often an issue, even within a small office or home office where bandwidth is relatively limited. For the municipal Wi-Fi, most municipalities do not have a mass Wi-Fi network deployed. If it's available and in range, then it is a viable option. And satellite, this option is expensive and provide limited capacity per subscriber. Typically, you use when no other option is available. Okay, this is a lab activity. This lab will complete the following objective: to investigate the broadband distribution and research broadband access option for specific scenario. Okay. All right. That's all for today lecture regarding WAN concept, and we have a couple of exercises using packet tracer on WAN concept. Later, I will upload this in our e-learning. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.